guys, it is Tristan with Nerdut's Newsstand, and I am here with Miss Bianca, and for International Women's Day, we are going to, well, a little late, but we are going to talk about some of our favorite female YouTubers online. How are you today, Bianca?
I'm doing good. How are you today, Tristan?
I am good. I know we were talking about it beforehand, but I did not realize the male to female ratio on YouTube until we had to specifically search out females. And then I'm like, wow, I watch a lot of dudes.
I've always noticed.
I didn't. And I was like, wow, this is kind of like pulling teeth. Like, I've got some really good ones. Don't get me wrong. Like, I have some amazing women on here, but I'm like, wow, if this was men, it would be hard to narrow it down to 9 or 10 of them, let alone, I don't know. So it was very weird for me. But yes, all of the channels that we talk about today, I will put in the description so you guys can check them out for yourself. They're amazing women. You want to go first, Bianca?
Sure. For this one, whether she does full-length videos or not, I'm not sure, because I mostly have been interested in her shorts, though she does sometimes make videos like up to 3-5 minutes long, which are like skits. And her name is Emily Fitzgerald. I really liked her Euphoria content. The thing is, I don't even watch Euphoria, but it's like...
I was just going to ask you that. I was going to say, is it any good?
Everybody says so, because everybody keeps recommending it to me. So I'm pretty sure it's good. But mostly she's she dresses up as a character from that universe. And then they're like, what if a Euphoria student was in the Twilight universe or the High School Musical universe?
Oh, that's fun.
The recent ones is if I was in a fantasy novel or if I was in a YA novel, and I'm like, I never realized how weird YA novels can be, because she's the character in a YA novel, but then she talks after the narration to say how stupid it is. They're like, oh, this YA novel character, her mom died, and then for some reason they would constantly bring it up into the story, and she's like, yeah, okay, can we stop talking about this? How many times is my personality? That kind of thing. And so she's a redhead funny woman.
That's
and she
awesome.
has
I love it.
Great clothes.
That's awesome. I love it. So for my first one, I actually have somebody that I might as well bring up first, because I'm guessing she's probably on both of our lists, and that's Casually Comics.
Yes.
I figured. I love Sasha. She's so cute.
Very entertaining.
Yes, she's so entertaining. I'm like, first off, we got to mention the wigs. She does such a good job at having these very unique perspective. You know what's funny about her? Have you ever heard of Top 10 Nerd?
No.
It's a channel. So. It's like one of those more Watch Mojo type channels for nerdy content. She used to be on that, and I remember her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she used to be one of the hosts on there until she started her own channel. And then she actually had another channel that was about shippers. She would do what if Poison Ivy and Dick Grayson got together? You know what I mean?
Are they the same age? Would they be the same age?
Well, I don't know. It was just kind of a neat concept. It was unique shipping. It was it wasn't our back.
She didn't say Nightwing. She didn't say Robin. She just said Dick Grayson. How old am I supposed to know?
Yeah, that's true. But I love her. I think she does a really good job of just where my channel is. I do a lot of comic stuff, obviously. But then on my live streams, I'll kind of get real with it. People know where I fall as far as the culture war stuff and all that. With her, you get straight up content. And she does it. Her editing is so good. And it's so unique. And I love, right now she's covering She-Hulk. And I'm not sure if you're reading She-Hulk, but it's so cute. And I love, I'm not a Hawk fan at all. But for some reason, I love She-Hulk. And I've been really enjoying this run. I literally read the book and watched her review. I'm like, why did I do that?
That was
she's entertaining.
You did change your perspective? Because I remember you saying that you didn't like the first one so much. And then later you said, it's pretty good. And I'm like, wait a minute.
The first one was it was good enough to continue. Right?
Okay,
but I didn't, just because I don't read Marvel as much, I didn't know who the character, I think his name is Jack of Hearts. I didn't know who he was. So to Marvel fans, that might be a big reveal. And I'm like, who's this dude? Like, you
No,
know what
I've
I
never
mean?
heard of
Like,
them either.
but the second issue, I actually forgot to put it on my top 5 because it was really good. And I really like She-Hulk, and it reminds me of old She-Hulk. Plus, you've got those Jen Bartel covers, beautiful covers.
I get the gem art covers.
Oh,
Art
another
Germ, sorry,
yeah,
Art Germ.
I know what you meant.
Annette.
I love Art Germ. His work is so good. Jen Bartel, I just joined her like Substack thing. Oh my god! Like, I know we're talking
Oh.
about Sasha, but I had no idea that Jen Bartel was such a freak. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
Wait, what kind of freak are we talking about?
there's some naughty things in there.
You can do that on Substack?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's definitely.
Does she have a like? You have to be this age.
No, I don't think so. I think you have to be at least 13 to be on Substack, but like you would think you'd have to because there's definitely some girl on girl action, some boy on girl action, some boy on boy action. I mean, I'm just saying, Jen Bartel likes to draw some naked bodies. And
okay, hold up. Let me get my phone real quick.
Let me get my card out. But yeah, I was surprised. I love that. That was that one that Electra I sent you yesterday. That's Jen. I love her work. So good. But yes, I love Sasha. I think she does such a great job at covering comics and being like giving, she does a really good job as to where a lot of people assume the backstory.
Mm-hmm,
She's going to have the patience to tell you, like, where the editor's notes, it'll say, like, see No Man's Land. And she's like, okay, here's the gist of No Man's Land. She does a really good job of explaining things. I love her.
I love her too. I just love her. I love her enthusiasm, even though it sounds so, like, monotone-ish.
She's very entertaining. I think she does a really good job.
She could be in radio.
That's right. Okay, who do you have?
I have Karolina Zabroska.
I have no idea who that is. Who is she?
She is a Poland YouTuber, and that's how I know I butchered the name.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like, I'm so used to I have so much Polish customers, and so when I usually pronounce the last name, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you got it right!" But I haven't seen a last name like this before, so I know I butchered it.
Oh no!
So she is she usually does vintage style fashion. She's a fashion history geek. She's appreciator of old things in general. Like when I say old things, like you'll see her making content on like the 1860s or like 1940s, 1980s, all that stuff. Like, what if somebody from the Victorian era, like, time traveled to over here, and how would they act, and that kind of stuff.
Cool.
Like, and because of her, I now know the whole putting on a corset thing, where if a person was putting on a corset in a show or in a movie, they would act like it hurt so much from the pulling, and then she was like, "Yeah, no, it doesn't hurt." It's never hurt. And I'm like, are you serious? And I'm like, then why? Is it for comedic effect, or is it just because of like ignorance of how it was back in the day? Actually, I still haven't finished that video, so I have to find out. And she also talks about stuff like, well, how were women dressed back then? How did they act back then? Beauty standards back then, what they consider as healthy back then, which is not true now. Sometimes, I do love that stuff because it's entertaining, and her accent's entertaining too.
I would be curious, like, how beauty standards change. I mean, you can tell a little bit, like, going from the flappers and going to the different styles and stuff, but seeing beauty standards change I love it because we actually we've talked about this before. We've saw a shift even in our generation. It went from, stick thin Britney Spears body type being the norm to allowing a little thickness to be okay. Like, we've seen beauty standards change in our time. So that's really cool. I'm going to have to check her out.
Oh, I'll send you all, like, I don't know if I should send you links or should I just send you pictures of their channel? Probably
links, because then I can put them in the description.
You're right.
Yeah. So I have myself in comics. I love her. She's awesome. She does really good videos on indie comics that I've never heard of. So then every once in a while when I see an indie comic, I'll be like, hey, have you heard of this one? Just because I know nothing about it.
Listen, editing is hard, and I accidentally deleted my video, and so now I have to restart after all that work I put in.
Oh, no. Are you still using KineMaster?
Yes. It's the easiest. I'm getting really good at it, and I keep downloading everything, and I'm like, oh, I want this, I want this, I want this, and I'm like, I want this effect, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm doing so much of this.
I download all of them, and then I forget which ones I downloaded, and then I never use them. I'm like, oh, okay. I do. It's a good app. It just takes a little while to get used to.
Mm-hmm. I'm definitely like, I'm ready. Like every time I want to do something, my finger is ready to push the buttons and everything. On the next review, I will be talking about not only a comic review, but there was one. It's going to be a comic review, but there's going to be 3 comic reviews inside of it. So it's going to be like a 30-minute video, and I'm actually going to be talking about editing on a indie comic that I did before.
Oh, that's cool.
And how I wasn't appreciated for it.
Oh no! I spoke too soon.
Well, the creator, he was extremely nice. He thanked me because he said he wanted to feel like a professional. And
that's cool.
And that's why I wanted to help. I'm like, listen, I know you want to be professional, and I know you can't speak English, and I know you use Google Translate, but there's grammatical errors and typos, and I want to help you fix that. And he's like, yes, please, I want to be a professional. And so he resent the link for my version of the whole fixed dialogue and everything. And then the comments were like, you didn't have to. No, we understood what you meant. No, it's okay. You didn't have to do that. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, this took me like a couple of weeks to do.
Wow.
And the thing is, like, they're lying. I have my version, and then I still have the older version. And like the older version literally had one page where the guy is literally saying nonsense. And I'm like, how do you decipher that? That one took me the longest to do, because I'm like, I'm going to have to take away this entire dialogue and add something new to it, because that didn't make any sense at all.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I couldn't imagine trying to do something like that. Have a conversation through Google Translate. That would be so hard.
It is. But luckily, because he was like Mexican, I could understand a little bit.
Yeah, that helps a little bit. That's awesome. So who do you have?
Oh, excuse me. Sorry. My next one is Stanzi. I think that's how it's pronounced. I sent one of her videos to you before. I mostly follow her for her funny anime content, and I guess some things that could be considered as hot takes in life. So like, if you watch her videos and you feel like this is not the one for you, like as a guy sometimes, then that's completely understandable.
Oh no.
There was like, I mostly follow a lot of her anime content. One Hominus will probably love is like, everyone sounds like a dubbed anime character. No. And she has the dubbed anime character voice of how they usually would sound like back in the day. And I'm like, oh no, that's so cringy. And I'm like, but it's true. A lot of them did sound like that. Or there was one where it actually happened to me one time where she was like, her skit was like 3 people. One worked at a coffee shop or a Starbucks or whatever. And then she's talking to a woman. She's like, hey, you got something that's not a pink cup, because the pink cup was an exclusive for some drink. And she's like, well, what do you mean? And she's like, my husband doesn't want the pink cup because it's too girly. And she's like, it's a cup, it's a color. It shouldn't affect you in any way possible. She's like, yeah, but it's pink, he's a guy, he doesn't want pink, it's too girly. She's like, it's a color, get over it.
Oh my gosh.
Because that happened to me at work, where some woman, older woman, asked me, hey, you got poop bags for like dogs and stuff, to hold a poop bag holder? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, here's the color, we only got like black and stuff. She's like, oh yeah, that'll be great because we have purple, but my husband said purple is too girly. And I'm like, purple is a royalty color, ma'am.
Oh my goodness.
It is what royals use. What do you mean it's too girly? What do you mean it's too feminine?
Oh my gosh.
Like purple.
I like purple.
And that's where the whole, when I would say, back then pink was a manly color. What happened? Blue was a feminine color. So I don't know. But so it's like, and then she would have stuff like, top 10 anime characters I would sell my body to. And she's a news reporter, and she's like, top 10 bodies I would sell my body to,
Oh my gosh.
Top 10 characters. So yeah, she's entertaining that way. They're shorts, but it's fun. But even there was one where it's like, hi, I'm a non-binary, blah, blah, blah. And she's also playing a murder. She's like, hey, I'm here to kill you guys. She's like, excuse me, you can't kill us because that will mean that you are ableist and you will be canceled. And she's like, yo, I'm trying to kill you. Why do I care? He's like, wow,
Oh my God, that's funny.
I really wanted to send that one to you one time, and I'm like, nah, I won't. It's okay. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, you totally should. I love those that's the shorts, right?
Yep.
I like the shorts every once in a while. They're so good. Like, I usually don't watch them, I'm not gonna lie, but once a week I'll just sit there and scroll. Like, because I have TikTok, but I never use it. Yeah, and it's kind of like the little version of TikTok. It's super fun. I like them.
I gotta make more.
I know, I'm really bad about me. I used to make a weekly one where I did my polls and stuff, and I'm like,
your editing is so good on those.
Thank you. They take a long time, and they don't seem to pan out. I thought maybe because they had just introduced that shorts feature that it would that would help my channel, and I'm like, nah, not really. I need to go back to doing them though. So I have Shiron Head.
Ooh,
I love her. I wish she would do more content because
she's not doing as much anymore.
No, she only does it once, maybe every other month at this point. I know, but they're longer. To be fair, they are 45 minutes to an hour long. And she does Hell World. And I think she has I know she has another channel named Brainland, but I haven't seen anything on there. But I love Shiron Head. She's kind of the right amount of political beliefs for me, where she's not too far left and too far right. I mean, I guess that's not true. I don't know about her social media and stuff, but I know she's a socialist and stuff that I'm not, but her takes are very grounded. And not only are they grounded, she's hilarious about it. She's extremely entertaining, and she has no problem. She's done a good job of pointing out these pedo men on YouTube and different organizations. Yeah. And she's been able to kind of almost do weirdly investigative journalism into different corporations that are okay with this, and then okay with having these people mingle online with 13-year-olds. It's a really fucked up situation. But her current stuff she does is Hell World, and it's basically, I would say every other month, she goes through the topical headlines of what had happened during that time, and I love it. She's so funny. And it goes back. That's the bad thing about YouTube, is everything is you have to get it out right away, right? You got to get it out. So a lot of it is pretty outdated, but she's hilarious. I love her, and she's adorable. Awesome. So who do you have?
I have, yes, I will butcher the name. Oh my gosh. I've been trying to practice since yesterday. Shiron Jaisal.
I have no idea who that is. Is that what went flying?
Yes. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so she is East Asian.
Mm-hmm.
From what I remember. I guess I can consider her a novelist as well. Mm-hmm. She is an Asian YouTuber who talks about, say, Kung Fu Panda, or that, what's that Disney movie, Raya and the Last Dragon. She does Asian commentary on all that stuff, and that's where I learn. That's mostly it. There's a guy one I follow, and then there's a girl one I follow, which is her. I'm so sorry. I just found out that she is non-binary. That they are non-binary. So I want to correct myself. I'm sorry.
You are totally fine. There's a lot of times when I'm trying to be respectful of pronouns, and when I did a video about Vita, I had to hold a little card in my hand that said they, to remember. It's not done in malice. It's done because it's hard to forget or hard to remember. So
And apparently,
there's a
like,
difference there.
I always wonder, like, why they didn't say anything about it. But they wrote on Twitter, yeah, I don't talk about it, I don't parade it, I don't do whatever. And because, and then they retweeted somebody who took offense to their whole non-binary thing. And then they were like, yeah, this is why I don't do it, because you people act like this. And,
Yep.
you know, like, I'm trying to open out to my audience, and then you guys treat me like crap for it, you know? That kind of thing. And I'm like, oh wow. I'm sorry. And
That's terrible.
one of the things, what was the latest thing I watched? Probably Why American Chinese Food Deserves Respect. And they talked about what MSGs are. I thought they were poison.
Oh wow.
Like, what are the MSGs? And then they were like, it's just salt.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? I'm worried about salt? Oh, well, actually, how much salt is in it, though?
Yeah, that's true. If you put too much salt in something, it can definitely fuck with you, too. So, that's awesome. And next, I have Lianna K. Lianna Kersner.
Nice.
I love Lianna. I love when she's on. She's so entertaining. But before I even go into her content, I want to mention her Wednesday stuff is so good.
Wellness Wednesday.
That's right. I love those segments because even if they don't relate to me, they relate to somebody that I might know or I might come in contact with. So I think she has a lot of not only life experience, but how do I say this without making myself sound super dumb? I'm naive. I'm naive and relatively sheltered, whereas she has a lot of life experience and a lot of critical thinking skills and a lot of different things, experience a lot of different things that I haven't. So I love being able to vicariously hear, the advice that she gives by, vicariously living through her experiences. And I think she does a really good job of dedicating a day to just mental health. Like, who else do you know that honestly does that?
I'm not smart enough to do something like that.
I'm not either. I'm not going to lie. I'm not either. But I think she does a great job at it. I think she puts her all into it. And most of what she says really does. Like, I don't think I've ever disagreed with her. Now, her other content, I don't know necessarily like the gaming scene as well. I play a couple games. Like, I just got Elden Ring. And it's
for what console?
For PS4. The customization. The customization is insane. I seen on TikTok somebody made a Kanye West and Aaron from Attack on Titan, and it looks exactly like them. Like, I spend an hour just on trying to make it look like a person. Like, come on now. How can you do that? I
usually just put random customization because I'm like, I don't really care.
Oh, not
Sometimes
me.
I will put in the work, but like not as much effort.
I always love the customization stuff, but it's so like it's levels of worse than Sekiro hard. Oh my goodness. Like, okay. So anyways, I get a lot of like my gaming news from her and Upper L Echelon Games. And she's like the controversies when it comes to like the newest thing would I guess be Aloy. She doesn't take this weird stance where she's like all outraged unless it's something to be outraged about. She tells the truth behind like, she'll give both sides, but she'll be like, look, women have little hairs. Like, have you ever seen a woman up close? Because they definitely are not hairless beings. Like, she will tell you how it is.
Don't get close to my face.
Oh my gosh. Like, the fact that people were upset that Aloy had little teeny hairs on their face, I'm guessing
it's a complaint?
Yes, that's a real complaint.
But doesn't that mean that the actress who is doing the mocap or whatever has hairs on her face?
I mean, doesn't that just mean that the graphics are that good you can see them?
Oh yeah, like that's what people didn't notice, but in Encanto they also showed hairs. The hairs were like a little bit lighter, but if you have like a really good TV, you can see the hairs on arms, the hairs on their necks.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, yo, I didn't notice this before. This is freaking tastic. I almost complained that, like, why you guys, like, don't have hair. I mean, again, it is lighter, which is
Right.
kind of weird because, like, if you're Hispanic, Latina, whatever, like, you have dark hair on your head.
Right.
So usually you would have darker hair on your body.
Right.
So why it's a little bit lighter, I'm not sure. But it's there. Sometimes they will show, like, brown in a darker setting.
That's kind of awesome. Like, that, yeah, I just couldn't believe it. Like, she takes that really good, like, I don't want to say middle ground because I know she's, like, pro-sex feminist, but, like, she definitely takes the sanity ground. I feel like it's the common sense, what normal people would think that didn't think a shit about the culture war. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I love Lianna. She's awesome. And I love hearing her stories, like, when she was on talking about G4, you know, hearing her life experience in that situation. She brings a lot of uniqueness to the table, and I really appreciate her. And she helped me out when it come to one of my trailers I edited for Merc Magazine. Like, I know she's always there if I need to, like, I was really upset about a situation, and I was just like, can I vent, please? And she's like, go for it. Go for it. And I appreciate her. Not only is she a good content creator, but she's a good friend.
Yeah, I brag that I talked to her. Like, I know this person who did, like, TV, and she was, like, in, like, not in the movies, but she worked in that industry and all that stuff. Just so you know.
You can be like, and she has her own DC character.
Yeah, I
in the
inspired
comic.
her to make a video.
That's awesome. I love her. She's awesome. And then when she came, like, when I went through that whole situation with getting gaslit during that Shane Davis interview, she was just like, no, I've had our debate, I guess you could call it. She was just like, no, I've had enough. Let's talk about this. And I appreciate that she does that. She's a really sweet woman, and she's good for the gaming community to have that voice.
Mm-hmm. That one comment about you on her channel was terrible.
Oop, I'm glad I didn't see it.
No, it was just spreading misinformation. You know how you were talking about the asking if a character was, like, raped on his on. There was a character that was, like, raped on the comic book that he worked on, that kind of thing.
Please, yep.
Yeah, so they said she literally asked a man if he raped anybody, and I'm like, that's not.
No, I did not.
No, she didn't.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah. People are crazy. See, people are crazy.
Like,
that's
she
why
called
we
a
need
man a rapist, and I'm like, no, it was a comic book character. Are you insane?
Oh my goodness. People can make up some crazy shit. Holy crap. Okay, so who do you have?
So I will have an honorable mention, which is Nerdette's Newsstand.
Yay!
One of the best female comic commentary review channels in the world forever.
Forever. I love it.
Okay, and so now my next creator is, I believe it's pronounced Nikki Marina.
Mm-hmm.
She's, like, half Latina, so I keep wanting to pronounce her first name Nike, because it's a Q-U-E, which is like ke.
Oh, okay.
So, like, I don't know why I pronounce it that way. But she is a person who she was in the military before. She's a person with a oh my gosh.
PhD?
No. PSTD.
Oh, okay.
I was missing a letter. PSTD from somewhere in the military, which he does talk about. It was actually one of the first videos I saw that was, like, recommended to me. And she was, like, it was a skit where she was going to a restaurant. She asked, hey, you guys got any military discounts? And she was like, oh, and the host was like, oh yeah, we do. And so she goes over to her husband and asks if he has, like, the ID and everything. She's like, no, I'm the vet. I'm the veteran. She's like, oh, well, you don't look like you were in the military. She's like, what is that supposed to mean? Am I supposed to look banged up or something like that? And,
wow.
And then after that, after the whole Encanto thing, she was starting to make a lot of Encanto content because she's half black, she's half Latina. So that Latina part, she does understand a little bit. Her husband is Asian, so sometimes she'll talk about, make skits about, their differences. And now I'm just getting recommended a lot of her Marvel and her anime shorts content, which I love so much.
Oh, that's awesome.
I really like when somebody's not afraid to yell for comedy. And so, like, that's one of the reasons why I like her. For some reason, I like loud people, which is probably why my other honorable mention is Saggy Melons.
I have her too! That's awesome! I love Saggy. You know what? Saggy is one of those people, like, that just has a good heart. Like, she's loud and she's funny, but, like, I love that she gives no shits. Like, we most recently disagreed. She's like doing it, like siding with Eric July on all of this drama that's been going around, and we could not be farther on opinion for each other. And I go into her chat and she's like, I love you, I don't care what you like. Like, that is why I love Saggy, because just like a lot of, just like I try to cultivate, she does not give a shit about your opinion. She just wants to have the conversation.
Yeah, that's why I love her too. I feel like I'm such a drama llama.
You know what though? It's funny because I try to have like relatively strict schedule with my content. So like Tuesdays I'll do something comic related on a stream. Thursdays more relaxed, and then I'll do a panel on Sunday. Thursday I always get more viewers. Always when it's drama. People just like hearing about it and hearing your opinions, even if they disagree with you. As long as they keep it respectful, I have no issue whatsoever. But then I'm like, we're going to talk about Infinite Frontier, and there's like 10 people in the chat, and I'm like, bro, where'd you go? I just had 100 a minute ago. Like, what happened? But yeah,
Disgusting.
I get it.
I'm just kidding.
No, I get it. I get it. People want to hear your opinion on something that's more topical, whereas maybe they've already read that book. Maybe they don't care about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I don't want to change like my format, because I still want people that like that content to be able to enjoy it. Exactly. And I like doing it. Let's be real. I love talking comics.
And that's a great thing. So I just have one more to say, and then I'll switch it over to you.
Okay.
She has been making a little bit of lengthy videos so far, but it's mostly talking about race and her experience as somebody who is biracial. So if you're not a person who's not really into that and like more of her Marvel anime comedic short stuff, then you can just look at the shorts. She even said it before. She's like, if you don't want to watch the more racial content, you don't have to watch. You can just watch the shorts if you want to, whatever, So, and that is it for mine.
You never said what her name was.
Yeah, I said Nikki Marina.
Oh! I thought you were
the same person.
Okay, I was just making sure. I thought you were on a different person. Okay, so I have Dan Pham.
Nah. Oh, dang it! I literally watch her content and she was not on my list.
I love her. She's so cute. Like,
I'm a big fan.
She does more anime than I prefer, but I still like. It's weird because I feel like she makes some of the stuff she talks about more entertaining than it would be to read it. Does that sound weird? Like,
no,
I feel like she's more entertaining, and she does such a good job. Plus, she's making her own book, right? Like, she's trying to actually like strike out on her own, and I love that. And when I had her on, I felt so bad because I had on just some guy and myself and Drew and her, and it's like. She got so drowned out, and I felt bad because I wanted to have a conversation with her. I've been watching,
which is why I asked so much questions on that stream.
I know, and I felt
even when I was working, I'm like, I'm not hearing her talk. I need to send some questions over.
I know, and I kept like she said afterwards she's just quiet, and I'm like, I know, but I've gotten to know her in a way through her videos, and I wanted to have a conversation with her. You know what I mean? Like. She's so sweet, and I wanted to know her opinions on things. But I know she launched Orgasm Girl too.
Yeah, I have to get the digital version of that before it's gone. I mean, before it's finished.
Yeah, I'm getting the digital too. I read one, and it didn't go too much into it, so I want to know. I want to know more about it. It didn't go too much into the it did. It explained who she was, but we didn't go into like what the. I guess the orgasm in the name was about. I'm
I have the
curious.
first volume. I didn't read it yet. I do have to read it and make a review and then hide it, which is why I'm getting the digital version for the second one.
That's so funny. Yeah, I love Dan Pham. She's awesome. She does such a good job with everything. And she reads, like, poor thing reads cringe a lot too. Like, oh God, the things you do for YouTube. It's so good. So did you have somebody else?
Yes, I have a Spoosky.
Oosky.
Spoosky. I think that's how you pronounce it. Spoosky or something like that. It's a SPO. The letter, the number 0.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. The one I sent you that video before.
Yep.
So the very first content I've ever watched of her was probably her Powerpuff Girls talk. She was talking about the new character named Bliss that was in the Powerpuff Girls reboot, where she is like this black Powerpuff Girl, and apparently she is the original Powerpuff Girl who was made with not Chemical X, but it was Chemical Y or Z or something like that. So not a lot of people liked her or her character or even her costume. And so she's talking about how, so in that video she's talking about how she didn't like the costume and how she was going to redo the costume and some of the colors and all that stuff. And her her version of the character was amazing, and I'm like, wow. And then another one was talking about One Piece. Like, she also does a lot of anime and manga content as well, and one of them was like about Nami, one of the characters who like has a great story, and then like time skip, and she has like a smaller waist and bigger boobs, and that a couple of the characters ended up sharing her design. And she was talking about like the reason why she didn't like the change, but it's not. And for some reason, like in the comment section, it makes no sense, because they were like, oh, so you're saying he's a misogynist? While in her video, she's like, no, I'm not saying he's a misogynist. This is obviously like, what's it called? An artist's decision.
Right.
That he decided to make, but not one that she agreed with, because like, why change a few of the females and have them have a similar body type, but then don't change any of the males? Like, the males are not taller, they're not buffer, or
right.
You know, all that stuff, despite the person doing such a wide body types, you know, because you have fat girls, you have fat guys, you know, tall guys, short guys, that kind of thing, you know. And I'm like, I thought the whole making her boobs being bigger, I thought that was a joke. I thought that was a meme, because I stopped watching One Piece like a long time ago, and then I saw this video. I'm like, wait, that's real. And then she also talked about like him ignoring the female audience just because the demographic is shonen. But when he was asked, hey, do you take like boys' consideration when they bring in letters or whatever? And he was like, oh, boys don't write letters. And he's like, oh, then how do you know you're doing a good job? And he's like, well, they haven't sent me any letters. And I'm like, well, you just said they don't write letters, so that makes no sense.
Yeah, that's weird.
You can't say that they don't write letters, whether it's good or bad, and then say, oh, I know I'm doing a good job because the boys didn't write letters to complain about me. And I'm like, boys write letters? Come on. You can't say no boys write letters. I see like many manga creators say that they get letters from some boys, you know, so it exists. Who knows? Maybe a boy could be using like a pen name to sound like a girl so he doesn't seem like a wimp or something. I don't know.
Right, exactly.
But, you know, I have the same complaint. I'm like, you want to do that? I personally hate it, but, you know, whatever. Your story, I guess.
One Piece is so weird to me anyways. Like, they're pirates that eat fruit?
Yeah. You know, you got the gum drop.
I don't know anything about it. I just heard the concept from one of Comics by Perch videos, and I was like, huh? Okay, fruit. All right, I'm game. Is the fruit
so
at least
long.
Tasty? Yeah.
And they look like regular fruit. Like,
it did?
One of them like was like a pineapple.
Well, okay. All right.
From what I remember, I was a kid when I saw it.
Yeah, I just, that one, I like the more when it comes to anything like that, the more supernatural, I think. I think I'm drawn to, like, you know, like the Tokyo Ghouls of the world.
Yeah. Oh, and she was also our inspiration for that marketing to girls video.
Yes, she
Which, of
was. She's
course, she
awesome.
obviously did a lot better because she actually had a lot of time to do research and stuff and show
Yeah.
receipts and everything. So, obviously, we're gonna, share those links and everything. So, like, check it out.
Yeah, she's definitely good. I like her a lot. And the funny thing about that is both that video we did and the one before that for Black History Month, before the premiere even happened, I had people in the comments like, this is pandering. How dare you pander? Like, what? It's called a conversation. It's okay to have. It is. I promise. I promise.
I mean,
Bianca
like people say, well, like I saw people in the live chat saying, and in the comment section saying, well, Batman's not for little boys, it's for families. And I'm like, well, that's where you're wrong. Because we just learned from Paul Dini himself that it wasn't for families, it was for young boys. And Paul Dini was really trying to force the executives to make it for families because girls watch it too with their parents, and when you're watching with your parents, that includes a boy and a girl, and that they will be watching it too, and that they want merch for them. Which, they didn't like that idea, and so they kicked him out. And, that was the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. And she did a really good job on researching that. She honestly did. Like, you can tell she takes a lot of time with her. Mm-hmm. I watched quite a few at this point. You can tell she takes her time, and she cares about her craft. So, yeah, good pick.
I just learned about Firefly, too. Like, everybody was recommending Firefly. They say, well, Firefly, like, it had a big girl audience. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's what got it canceled. Because the audience was for guys. But as soon as they realized that more females were watching it, instead of, switching the demographic, they just canceled it altogether.
Oh, yeah. Firefly had Nathan Fillion, right?
I'm not good with actors' names.
I think it did. Yeah, it was canceled after one season, right?
Yeah.
They do have a comic going on, but I'm assuming it's not, quite the same. But yeah, I've heard about that one. I heard a lot of people like it, which is weird that it got canceled.
Female audience.
Yep.
I'm just kidding.
That's okay.
So true. Yes, yours.
So I have for my next one. Having this because I have Mama's Geeky. And she is a mom that does and loves, any, geek subculture. She loves Marvel. She loves movies. She loves all this stuff. But then you've got this added flair with her. So why I say I'm halving it is because I don't watch her movie reviews because she's shillish. And the reason I say that is because, like, I know the game. I know the game when it comes to like actually getting access to these things. You have to be overly happy about all of them, right? Like, you can go see Marvel's Endgame and say it's the best Marvel movie ever, but when Eternals come out, you better say the same thing. Like, you have to be a little more positive. So she puts a lot of positivity in her reviews. But what I actually watch from her is she gets a lot of interviews of people in and around the industry. So, like, she had on some people from Titans, and I thought that was really cool. She had on somebody from that Seeing Red. She has on different voice actors, and I like hearing, like, a normal person. She's probably maybe 10 years older than me. I'm not sure exactly.
Wait, did you say Mama's Geeky?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I just saw her Arcane review a while back.
And she has these people on, and I like hearing that side of things, right? Like, because I don't know about it. And then what's adorable is she'll, like, new trailer will come out and she'll react to it. But when her kids get home from school, she'll bring them out and be like, guess what? Spider-Man's here. And they're two little girls. They're all excited. I'm like, I love them so much. Like, it's so cute. So it's kind of like a family affair. And I think it's really cute that she does that. And she's successful at it. Like, how much more could you ask for? You get to stay at home, and I don't know if she's married or not, but, like, she's providing for her and her kids by doing what she loves. Like, she's kind of got the American dream thing going on, right?
I think so. At least from what I saw.
I like her. Like I said, her reviews are very shillish. Like, she's gonna love it. when I watched the first couple episodes of Cowboy Bebop, and I was like, "Ooh, what is this okay? But what's going on? You took out everything I love." And then she was like, "Oh my god, Cowboy Bebop is so good." I was like, okay, all right. I started to notice a pattern, but like her interviews are great. Her kids are great, so I think she does a really good job. And I understand the game she's playing. Unfortunately,
I'm sorry. I shouldn't laugh.
oh no, I totally get it. Like, I seen the quartering making fun of her one time, and I was like, that's not very nice. She has kids and she's cute. Leave her alone. Like, I'm like, I don't know. I find that, like, idea of being able to have that, like, family affair really cute. So who do you got?
Oh, sorry. So I have Call Me Chris, and you can call her Chris. All in K's. The call is in K and the Chris is in K.
Alright.
She also has a TikTok. She mostly does TikTok stuff, and then she puts a lot of those TikTok into her YouTube channel, makes them into a compilation.
That's
And I like how she compliments the audience in the intro. She's like, "Hi, I'm Call Me Chris, and you can call me Chris. That nice shirt really looks good on you. Your face looks amazing."
Oh my god, that's funny. That's a good way to stick it. That's awesome. I'm gonna have to look her up. I love how like all of yours are like shorts, people. Yeah, that would have been.
And this one is not shorts. It's mostly YouTube videos that range from 5 to 15 minutes. But even then, you don't really feel it, and that's why I can watch so much of her content, because I'm like, I don't feel it. I can watch like 20.
Oh, that's awesome. I gotta mention this person, and I give this person a lot of shit, but I gotta mention this person. I just thought of it. Wasn't on my list, but Grace Randolph. So many people are cringing right now. No, okay.
I'm subscribing. Bye.
No, come back. Grace Randolph, I like her for, again, I don't really, unless sometimes I watch her non-spoilers to decide if I want to see the movie, but I don't like her like placating to the Snyder cultists. I don't like some of the shit she says about Jeff Johns. I don't like some of the rumor mongering she does. I like that she does movie math and she breaks down box office, because I'm just like, well, then I don't have to look up the information. I think she does a really good job at diving into those numbers and showing what's going on with ratings, and then the Nielsen ratings, and then like Samba TV and stuff like that, and how much each movie is individually making. That's why I like Grace Randolph. Not because she's a crazy person, because she has one sane video a week, at least.
Which is great.
Yeah, and every once in a while she'll have a little bit of like insider information, but you never know whether to trust it, because it's like at least half the time wrong. At least half the time. So it's like, I could have probably guessed that and it would have been, the same exact thing. But yeah, she does movie math. That I enjoy. Do you have one more? Or is that it? Okay.
I was looking at something and it made me want to vomit.
I have actually two more, but I'm going to put them together because they're musicians. So that works perfect.
Cheater. So it's again, like, usually trying to find content. A lot of the content that I watch mostly have a bigger male creator audience. So I was surprised that I even found a female one, and I'm like, oh, I watched her videos before. How did I not notice? So her name is Mrs. Eats.
Mrs. Eats?
Mrs. Eats. She is a Japanese woman, and she kind of like, some people have questions about Japan or whatever, so she will answer, and she will talk about her experience in Japan, like how she was fat, and what people treat you as a fat person. One of them was like Japan's creepy cure for shyness, and I already know about that. I don't have to watch the video. I already know what they do. And I'm not gonna say.
Oh no! It's like,
if you want to live in Japan, here's what's gonna happen, and here's why you're gonna hate living in Japan. That kind of thing. One of I was gonna talk about and she was like, one video that I really like personally was the Japanese words American use and don't understand. And I'm like, again, this is where a lot of people who watch anime, they spread misinformation, and it spreads everywhere. And then I'm like, bro, that's not how they use it in Japan, though. But you know, it's such a thing that just happens after so many years. You start spreading it yourself.
I totally get it.
And if you're a JoJo fan, she's a JoJo fan too, because there's a lot of JoJo fans.
I've seen some of JoJo, but not in a really long time.
I cannot watch JoJo.
I wasn't like overly impressed. I'm not gonna lie. Like I watched it
the first
passively,
season's the worst.
I watched it passively where my nephew was watching it, and I was just kind of working on other stuff for the channel. I'm like, what? Okay, all right. Needless to say, he didn't finish it. He went on to Bleach, I believe. I could be wrong. I don't remember.
So you
but
stopped
yeah,
watching it all together.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, don't tell any JoJo fans that.
Oh no. Do they have a lot of stands?
Yes. You have no idea.
Oh no. Okay. Yeah, I had no idea. That's too funny. So I'm gonna put these two together just because they work together a lot, and they're like small time musicians. So I have Lauren Babic and Holocene, but Holocene is a group. The only reason I'm including them is because the front lead is a female, and oddly enough, Lauren Babic I found through Eric July because they sang a song together. Song's great. King for a Day.
Oh, so you do like covers?
Yes. And mostly covers. Both of them. And I like Lauren because she is more of a screamer. She's amazing. Like, she just did a cover of Shallow. Oh my God. It was beautiful. And her cover of Lovely is amazing. And then she'll do videos like, okay, so this is the best mic for this type of voice. Here's how to set it up. So like, not only is she making music, but she's trying to help others create it too, or at least get the best out of their equipment. And like explain, like Holocene will explain like, okay, this is I think it's called Sound Pop. It's a, company that'll help you if somebody uses your song and you can get the copyright from it and da-da-da. So like they do try to help the community a lot. Holocene is she was like one of my girl crushes for the longest time, but they do a cover together of the Foo Fighters. Oh my God. I've listened to that song probably 150 times. It's so damn good. Their voices go together so good. And I love music anyway, but like sometimes when it comes to YouTube people making music and its originals, I won't get into it as much. But when they did covers, I was able to listen to their covers and get into that. And then I'm like, okay, now I want to hear your originals. And they're both really talented. Another one would be Andy Case. That's kind of the same thing. But they're both really talented. And they're both like in rock bands. Like these girls are like hanging with the boys, being better. And it's fucking awesome. I love it.
You're going to have to send me one of the covers. Sorry.
Oh my God, I will. No, you're totally
like,
fine.
I never know when to like speak up or anything because I always wait a few seconds after somebody's finished talking just in case.
No, you're totally fine. Yeah, but I will after this. I'll send you my favorite one of them together with Foo Fighters. They're incredible. To say the least, they're definitely incredible and they definitely have a lot of talent.
Yay.
All right, guys, we are going to wrap up. Let us know down below who your favorite female YouTuber is for, I believe, isn't it International Women's Day? And then it's also International Women's Month. Like women are getting a lot of love this month. I think March is like Women's History Month. That's what it is. I don't know. They make up this stuff and I'm just like, okay, I go along with it.
I feel like they make it up every year. I could have
sworn
that it is because I'm like, I feel like it was on a different month last year. And I don't know. I'm not really good with remembering that stuff.
Well, I do know that International Men's Day is in November.
Our birth month.
So
yay.
I know there will be a lot of people going, well, what about International Men's Day? Well, don't worry.
Of course we're going to do something.
Exactly. Are you crazy? All right. Well, we will see you guys in the next time. Make sure you guys subscribe to Bianca. Her link will be in the description.
Make sure you just subscribe to Tristan too.
And all of those other people. We will have it all in the description.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
I can feel, I can know, I feel it